and welcome to a completely new Anno 1800 series. We're going to create a beautiful mega empire. I have activated more than 80 modes, so that's going to bring a lot of new ornaments, but also a lot of new gameplay. It is worth noting though that I haven't activated any cheat mode, so there's no modes that are making the game a lot easier. All of the modes are really focusing on bringing additional things to the game, not taking things out of the game. I've also activated all of the DLCs, I've activated all of the pirates, traders, and we have 3 AIs. One 1-star, one 2 stars, and one 3 stars. I won't tell you yet who, but we'll discover that hopefully in this first episode already. And we're gonna have many goals. We're gonna try to discover all of the continents, create things like the Iron Tower, the World Fair, the Skyline Tower, which means having of course a lot of investors, a lot of tourists, and in every episode I will also show you some of those mods. You know, either mods that are already activated today or also new mods. Every time there is a new mod coming out, I'll definitely add it to the playthrough and showcase it into this playthrough to you all. If you want more details, don't hesitate to check the video description below. I have put the name of all those mods. I have also put a link where you can download a zip file with all those mods together. So you don't even have to go to Nexus, you can download them all at once. I've also put a link to download the map seed if you want to follow along. I'm StratGamer, covering strategy, city building, simulations with game reviews, guides, and also let's plays. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't hesitate to press the red button below so you never miss another video and you really help support the channel. Also, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if there's anything specific that you want to see in this playthrough, in this series. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My current plan is to do a mix of real-time building, time lapses at high speed, and also some cuts. So you see the important parts, but you also don't have to see everything. But of course, again, don't hesitate to share in the comments below if there are things you're more interested in than others, like more time lapses or more real-time buildings. I'd love to hear that. Okay, and we're now in the high-speed time-lapse part of this video, starting to build really the city. You know, right now I'm figuring out a bit what I want to do. The key thing is I'm not gonna follow a precise grid. So you can see I'm putting houses a bit in random order. It's not even a square, it's a rectangle, and trying to really not repeat, trying to have different size of squares or rectangle. We also need to put our wood production as quickly as possible. So woodcutters and timber. Then our first ship has met the pirates. We're gonna lose it. Spoiler alert. I've sent all of my 3 ships across the map, already met a few people, including the pirates. Finishing here this first timber production, continuing to add a few more houses. As you can see here, the idea is to have a bit different shapes, even for our market stall. This is one of the first modes that we're using. Actual real marketplaces, but they are smaller. They also have smaller ranges. They enable you to do some interesting things. And you know, some of the things here could go a bit quickly. Don't worry, at the end we're also going to recap a bit the whole city. I'll show you how the city looks and some of the elements, so you'll be able to see all of that. Continuing to use some of the other modes. For example, here I'm placing sort of fake ships. The idea is I want to protect my harbor. It's like during World War II, where they put a lot of fake tanks and ships in the wrong places to lure the Germans. And you know, starting to put also a lot of trees and ornaments across the city. At the beginning, it actually costs quite a bit of money. We don't have that much money, but you know, it's good. This is the goal of this playthrough, is to actually build pretty. So I'm trying a few things, putting different types of trees and ornaments. Then I'm gonna delete some because they don't look like that great, etc. Don't hesitate again to share in the comments below what you think is working, what maybe isn't that nice. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Here I made a small park, for example. I thought it looked really cute. This, on the other hand, didn't look cute at all, so I'm deleting it. I'm making sure that we have a large avenue in the middle. This will help us have some rails later, but also create, I think, a large long avenue with a lot of trees and things like this later. I copied a bit the layout and expanded the city. Then I'm going to change some of those layouts so it doesn't look all the same. In particular, I'm going to create a bit some themes. There's going to be a place for farmers, a place a bit more for workers, etc. We have a first fire because I didn't put fire. There is a couple of fire stations thanks to mods, but for now we're only going to use the first one. If you have any questions about Anno, if you're maybe new to Anno, I'd love to answer that. Now I'm starting to provide some of the goods, starting with the schnapps production, because it gives us quite a bit of money, and right now we're negative, so it'd be good. You can see I created a bit of farm. Now I'm gonna create a bit of a sort of industrial area where the potatoes are gonna be transformed into schnapps. And slowly but surely we'll make that area a lot prettier. It is worth noting that in Anno 1800 you unlock things along the way, along your development. So I don't have access to all of the buildings, to all of the ornaments or mods right away. So later on you will also be able to use a few others and make some of those parts a bit better. So I'm creating a very small city. It's the people that are working in the farm, that are working in the schnapp production, will be living here with also a small stall. There is another farm that is a bit more in the forest, with its own house next to it. Of course, you do need to make sure for the gameplay to work that the house is in range of a market, that the potato farm is either in range of a warehouse or a schnapp production. So that's what I'm also doing, of course, but trying to create a bit those stories. Then in the back of this house, I'm thinking of creating a bit of a garden, those type of things. I'm also expanding or increasing my wood production, make sure I always have enough wood. That will make me lose a bit of money, but it's not the end of the world. Expanding a bit the city before I create the second part, which will be close to the harbor. And the idea here is going to be a city of workers. Of course, we need to start first with farmers, that then we can upgrade to workers. But it's not, it's not fully industrial workers. It's workers that are going to work in some factories, but not, not full of coal everywhere and things like this. And I'm gonna put the framework knitters here, for example. I'm trying to really integrate them inside the city, make it a bit, make it something that's realistic. We'll see if it works or not. Tell me in the comments. Of course, playing a bit with the layouts, not like you can get it perfect from the first time around. And that's also why I'm doing this in the time lapse, so that you guys can see the result quite quickly. But here you can see I've put them inside a bit of the city, and we'll continue to expand that neighborhood later. I'm also going to do things around the neighborhood. We'll see that. Starting to also add a few more ornaments from this great mod that had more than 100 assets in a bit of an industrial way here. Looking from time to time also on that production, am I producing enough of everything? And here I wanted to start, developing this second city, and that's where I actually made a big mistake. I forgot that, we don't have a lot of money at the beginning. So I was like, okay, let's just develop this second city right away. So I'm putting first some wood, and then I'm going to copy a whole part of the city, including all of the ornaments. And that's basically the mistake I made, is I forgot there was a lot of ornaments, and these ornaments cost a lot of money. So you can see now we are at 0. I've used all of my money. We are in negative. So we need to change something. First of all, I'm going to stop a few of the production. Second, you can see I'm looking at quests, because quests can give you a lot of money. So I've started a few quests. I'm also stopping, as you saw, all of those productions, because we need to go back into positive. One good thing that will happen just now is I will have my first newspaper, and with the newspaper comes the possibility to do propaganda, and with propaganda in particular, you can add a plus 5% income, and therefore now we are in positive for the income. So, we are saved in a way. Okay, so after this funny mistake, I continued playing for about an hour off camera. And to conclude this episode, we're going to do a bit of a tour of the city, me showing you a couple of elements I'm really proud of or really like and love your comments on. Starting with the farmer city here, you see many different types of houses. You can do that with Shift V. It is obviously a mode. We're providing the right things thanks to some of our small markets like these ones. We also have the pub here, fire station over here, and a lot of different parks and greeneries. We have some wells spread out across the city. We have some small parks like this one, or somebody is on the swing and there's a tree, really cool looking, I found. Sometimes there's also some resources like here. We have different types of trees. Here next to the pub, it's trees with apples. You can even go in first person mode to enjoy this, especially when there's a festival like this one. It is Ctrl-Shift-R to go or exit from this mode. And we even have this small police station here, which is this one, which has a lower range than the other one. Then we moved into our first sort of small worker city, and it's not a full industrial worker. And some of the key streets, it's paved streets, but some of the inside streets still not paved. So I thought this was quite cool. Of course, again, we have from time to time some markets like here, or here we have a pub with a few ornaments. I put the bakeries inside the city. Not like it's somewhere in the middle of the map. It's actually usually pretty close to a city. And we even have in the back a police station, hidden. In the future, we'll probably expand a bit that city. We'll see that. We have a wood production, and then we also have a big brick production. One is here, and two of the clay pits were over here. So I thought, let's create a bit of a small industrial hub here in the middle. We have a number of ornaments. Some are base game like this one or this one, and other are modded like this one or that one. And in the middle, all of the brick factories with this wall, a few houses, worker houses. And then lastly, here we have a sort of real farming community. There's a small town here with a market, and there's also a number of small houses like this one here, a few also over here like this one inside the farms, then a couple of farms, windmills, and also production here. I'll definitely continue working on this part here. For me, is not really finished. We'll put, ornaments all over here. But I've also, wanted to put ornaments between the different fields. Like it's, this is owned by a family and they put trees around their farm. This is owned by another family. They put a fence around their farm. Those type of things I thought were really cool. We're also here using our first silo to get a high sheep farm productivity, 200%. That's pretty cool. So anyway, a bit of a start of our farming community. And thanks to all of this, we are able to, of course, provide what we need for our farmers, but we also started to provide what we need for our workers. In particular, we started to provide bread. Now my idea is we're going to develop in the next episode the second island, which is just in front. They can see each other. So that's great. Also very cool images in the future, I think. And in this city here, the goal will be to do a couple of things. One is we are going to produce our sausage and soap in a very, industrial area. We'll play with that. And we'll also make a beer, both for this city, but also to send to the other city over here, because we have the hope fertility. And that's why I conquered this island so quickly, because I wanted to make sure to have hope, which we don't have here. Don't hesitate to share in the comments if you have any thoughts, feedback, suggestions. Love to hear about it. If you want one of the islands to be named after you, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. Also, if you like this episode, don't hesitate to press the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to share this with more Anno fans out there. And I hope to see you next time for another episode of growing this beautiful empire with 80+ mods.